this week's episode of the Why Edify podcast, at least the video portion. I'm Jeremy Jorgensen, and today we're diving into a big topic as we approach the end of the school year, and it's called just fighting for focus. And one of the things we'll explore in this episode is practical strategies to keep students engaged as best we can in the final weeks of school. Looking at some things like hands on projects, types of celebration activities, some other lesson ideas for the elementary, middle, and high school classrooms. Now, first, a little full disclosure is I think at this moment I may have bitten off more than I can chew. I'm still learning how to use Riverside as my recording tool. And right now, I am trying to stream this to YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And I have no idea right now what's working and what's not. So maybe, I'm on all those places. Maybe I am not. But we're going to just roll with it and then learn from whatever happens. So, first, a little story time. Last week, we had a powwow at our school, and I was fortunate enough to be selected to go down in front of everybody, and I was going to do some dancing. Okay. And so, not my strong suit in the first place. But then, as we were getting ready to dance, one of the things we had to do is into the microphone. I think we were supposed to make our best warrior cry. That's what it sounded like. The demonstration was great, and the person who went before me did a nice job. And in my head, I was gearing up towards to make the best warrior cry that I could humanly make. And I welled up the energy inside. I was ready to go. And when I let it rip, a sound came out of me that I did not even know that I could make. And so I was told it sounded much like a wounded chicken. And so, of course, that's been recorded. I'm sure someone has it out there to share with the world, but that was not my intention. But the dancing part was kind of fun. And I do have some proof here from the, I don't know if you can see this from the paper, but that was kind of a fun moment that occurred pretty recently at school, and was happy I got to participate in it, and I had a good time. All right, story time is now over. First thing I'd like to share today is about that focus and fighting for focus at the end of the school year. It takes different types of activities. I recently read an article from TCEA called Student Engagement Strategies for the End of the School Year. And of course, it takes a lot of planning for that. But then, no matter what, it still takes monumental reserves of patience. And so, we talked about some of those hands on projects, maybe even recognize the students with awards, and then making sure you leave some time for some short breaks. Those short breaks are good for teachers, and they're very good for students. Do other things or try other things like inviting guest speakers if you're able. Some things I haven't tried yet, but I think that I would like to, or to take students on virtual field trips or have them head out on those field trips. Try to stick to regular classroom routines and rules, and even it's the very end of the year to revisit those what those are. And then if you're brave, it's also a great time to get feedback from students about how the year went, and then how to keep a positive classroom environment. So here are some ideas for three levels of teachers, elementary and middle and high school. Things like an end of the year time capsule project. Students creating digital or physical time capsules could include writing samples from the beginning of the year, self portraits, list of favorite books, subjects, even friends, a letter to the future selves, and then also some photos of classroom activities. And here's that field trip. Take something called like a global virtual adventure, where students can plan those field trips to different countries and maybe even create digital travel journals that include things like cultural facts they learned, basic phrases in the local language, traditional foods and customs, drawing or digital art of landmarks, and then even talking about currency and conversion of currency, incorporating that into some different math problems. Then in the middle school, maybe try a digital yearbook magazine where students work in teams and create an interactive yearbook, write articles about the year's highlights, could interview students, teachers, and staff. Polls and surveys would be pretty cool. And then also a collection of student artwork. I think middle school students would have fun putting something like that together. Another area in the high school, perhaps a community impact project. Students are developing a community service project. They research local community needs, create proposals and budgets, coordinate with local organizations, and then they can document the whole process through video and photos. And then they can present it out. I think that could be highly engaging for a certain segment of students. And then in high school, too, perhaps exploring careers and organizing a mini conference and having speakers come in and talk to students about things that they could research. What else could we do? They could coordinate with local organizations and then document the process and share that out. Um, and then they could even do this virtually or in person with some networking sessions or creating some digital portfolios. So just some ideas to maybe to hopefully increase student engagement in the tail end of the year as everybody's holding on for the home stretch. This is one of the topics that I explored in last week's Friday 5 newsletter for teachers. And so I'll leave that in the show notes for you so you can check that out as well. And then just some things that I've been thinking about or reading about this past week, some things to try or to think about. One is when it comes to building classroom culture, maybe create a weekly appreciation circle where students acknowledge their peers. And this doesn't have to be at the end of the year, this could be at any time, but that I think could be powerful. Another thing that I've been thinking about, and a former teaching partner of mine did a great job with this, is having learning partners, partners that you stick with for uh, a good portion of a semester and not just random selections. And then having these partners build deeper collaboration skills and maybe even develop a support system for each other. Another one I think is a great idea is for an end of year transition, having students create a survival guide that you could then pass to next year's students, and it would help the upcoming students know what to expect, given some tips from some peers. And that could be a powerful reflective activity, but then it also sets you up for a great introductory activity the next year. And what else do we have? A couple more. Thinking about metacognition and just making time as you head to the end of the year to do your check ins for understanding. And even some simple things like hand signals as a quick visual way to check comprehension. My favorite one is the thumbometer, like, yes, I got it, or no, no, I don't have it yet. Is very useful. And so those are some of the things that have kind of come across either from what I've read or thought about or tried this past week in the classroom. And then I've just got a couple other articles that I'll share links to. Would be just a strong teacher newsletter from last week, and also a little focus on curation and the power of reading. And then one of the things that I came across was a study that says people who read regularly, they have evidence, proof, they actually live longer. So another reason to read yourself and to promote reading with your peers. So that's what we have for this week. It's short, as I'm not sure how it's being recorded, but we'll see. And I want to invite you to subscribe and share this. Everything that I'm trying to put out is to try to help teachers become happier, healthier, stronger in some way, myself included. So follow along with Why Edify. And if you have any great ideas, please share them with me too. Until next time, take care